hit record. I'm just checking to see if it's going to record. Okay, for some reason it's not doing it. Okay, wow, there's a big noise. I don't know why it's doing that sometimes.
We have Stephane. We have another visitor come on.
Yeah, but when the guests come on, we don't hear them. We just see them coming on, so it's good. And it shows that it's recording right now, so that's great. Thanks, guys, for the feedback. Shadow, I see your username, but I don't know what your real name is. So if you get a chance, just type in here. Mustafa from Egypt and Bobby. All right, nice to meet you, Bobby. Okay, guys, here's what we're going to do. The goal here today is, first of all, this is our first Blab live stream. We've never done this before on Blab. We've used Periscope. I've used many different platforms, never used this one, and we wanted to see if this could be a great group live stream where we could have some interaction with you guys, and at the same time broadcast on video and basically give you some coaching. Well, just as an introduction, because many of you who are going to be watching the replay are already on our team. Our team is Limitless, and so that's great if you're coming on and watching us. What may happen is that some of you are in network marketing or maybe another business, and you're coming here to learn how to get prospects interested in your business. Our business is a network marketing business, or your products. And so we're going to do some coaching on this. And so we're going to do a brainstorming session between myself and Arlene. Again, as introduction, I am Stephane. I've been in network marketing for many, many years, actually 22 or 23 years, actually. And basically, it's been a great experience, but many, many years I struggled. I struggled for a long, long time trying to build my business successfully. And eventually I teamed up with a guy named Tim Sales, and he showed me how to build this business properly. So we've had some great success since I joined him. I started to climb the ranks, and right now I'm one of the leaders in the company. I've had a great, like last year, I was number 7 top recruiter in my company. I kind of learned a lot of different things on how to build this business successfully. As for Arlene, I've known Arlene for probably 4 years. We met before, but just like one phone call. And Arlene has been one of the leaders on our team. She is a top recruiter. She's been recruiting lots of people in her business. And actually also got lots of customers on our weight loss products. Arlene, how many customers did you get just for the kick? How many customers approximately?
I have lost count. I know that in a 3-month span, I had about 100.
Okay. All right, good. So 100 customers. Can you believe that?
I quit counting after that.
All right. Okay. So this has been, a great experience for both of us, where we went from struggling in the business, not having much success, pestering friends and family and coworkers. Arlene, I know you can agree with that. That's cool. You teachers. You were a teacher, and so teachers were running away from you, right?
Yeah.
And so we've had a lot of struggles, but you know what? Even though at some point in our career, we felt like it was never going to work. We didn't know if it took us all of this time to learn what we've learned, how long is it going to take for us to finally have success and then teach others to have success? But you know what? Once you put the pieces together, it becomes easy. It becomes simple, actually. And so that's kind of what happened to us as we start to climb the ranks and have success in the business and gathered lots of customers and signed up lots of reps, and things became much easier. So let's get to the subject of this live stream today. And it's about how to get your prospects interested. So I wanted to talk to you, Arlene, because you've been making lots of phone calls. You've met people face to face, and sometimes some people that we book for an appointment. We say, okay, let's connect and meet tomorrow. You're going to review the information. Let's talk tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And sometimes they just don't pick up. Like we call them, they're not there. It's a no-show. So from your perspective, what has been your experience in that regards? What have you experienced that is causing that behavior from your prospect?
Okay, first of all, a lot of times it's they don't show because they really do have a reason. And I found out that I don't take it personal, and I don't labor over it. I give them the choice of calling me back, or I call them back and we meet up again. So there's sometimes it does happen, and that is, they just life. That's life. But in the other situations, just like you say, why they don't call me back, it stems way back to when you met that person and what you talked to them from the very beginning. So many times we go in, we call a prospect with the idea that we're going to make a sale, that we're only calling them for one reason, and that's to benefit ourselves, to make more money. And if that frame of mind, I can guarantee you will never have anybody answer your phones again. It all goes back to your frame of mind when you pick up that phone to call that person, because that's going to set the stage for your relationship with that person. And if you want a relationship that's a lasting one, that they will learn to trust you and to listen to you and buy from you, then you have to establish that trust by the way in which you handle them on your first discussion with them. So when you pick up the phone, you have one thing in mind, and that is you're going to make that person's life better. That's the only reason you're calling that person, is to get a new friend and to make that person's life better. So you are in the business of finding out what they need and want so you can make that happen. So I think that would be the first step. You have to go back to that very first initial call, because that will determine whether they're going to answer you or not.
So let's talk about that first call. Many of you who are on the team, who are being coached by us, know the inviting formula that we learned from Tim Sales. Can you talk about these, probably the two step of the formula that are important to get done well, so that the person is actually getting, making your, like, when are going to pick up basically your phone call when you call them back? Like, what are the two important things?
Well, always is the greeting. You always greet someone and talk to them. And the second would be the qualify, which most people leave out. They go from a greeting over to the invite, and that's why the people do not pick up the phone. So in your greeting, you have to establish a relationship. You have to establish the person needs to be talking to you openly and freely and giving you information. And it's like an old friend, and you build that relationship. So that's the greeting. And so that's so important on the greeting. And then we go into the quality.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. The reason I was delayed here is because when I tap on my video, I'm able to mute myself. So if there's background noise, you don't hear it. So that's why I was just looking back. So
yeah, I know that you probably had something to say about the greeting, because it's so important. So what's your
point? Okay, sure. Yes, the greeting, it is very important, of course, because if you move to the qualify step, which is basically try to get them to tell you the reason why they would be interested in what you may be presenting to them. If you haven't done the greeting properly, they're not going to open up. They're not going to tell you the real reason why they are interested to review information. So the greeting is important just to get them open up. Now, what I found over the years is that greeting someone means to get them to open up, to talk to you freely and openly. And what I've done to do that effectively is I've used keywords. So, for example, if I'm calling you, Arlene, and I say, hey, Arlene, I've got a project I'm working on. I know you've been telling me lately about you wanting to lose weight. Did you find something since we spoke? And let's just role play here real quick.
Okay. Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did? What have you done? What did you
Well,
find?
I found this program that I have to eat certain foods at certain days on certain times, and I can't eat other foods on other times, and I can only I have to drink, so I can only drink water at certain times during the day, and I can't exercise only on certain hours of the day.
Okay. So Arlene, I hear you can't. You have to only in certain hours. You can't drink this. You can't drink that. Tell me about that. It looks like it's pretty hard. Has that been a good diet, or how's that going?
Well, it's laborious. I have to make sure that I'm on target all the time, and I have a schedule. I had to make out this schedule, and I put my phone on to alert me when I can do something and when I can't do something. So I'm hoping to get off this diet really soon. I have 3 more days, and I'm supposed to have lost 7 pounds. So I've been on it for 2 weeks, and so far I haven't lost quite my 7 pounds. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll go through it for another 7 days. You do it for 7 days, and then you kind of have a break and take a rest, and then you go back on it for another 7 days. So I've done it for 14 days, so we'll see if I want to do it for another 7.
So you said you've been putting that on your schedule, and you have to, really follow everything by the schedule, by the book, and so is that complicated with the current schedule you have?
Yeah, I'm a little frustrated because that's kind of taken over my life.
Okay, let me stop you here. Now, this is a role play session. I see some people join here. This is a role play session. So basically, what I did to get Arlene to talk freely and openly to me is I use keywords. So she tells me something, and I look for the keyword in that phrase, in her answer, to ask her another question. Well, in her first conversation, what she was talking about is she can't eat this, she can't eat that, she can't drink this, she has to, it's can't, and she only has to do this and only that. So the keyword was can't. So I picked on that, and I asked her about this, and I said, so you can't do this, can't do that, how's that going? All right, so I used that keyword. Then the next thing, after she was explaining to me, well, I have to follow a certain schedule, so I put this on my schedule, and it's not easy to follow the schedule. So the schedule was the keyword. They don't always repeat that keyword all the time, like many times, but if there's always something in their answer that you can use to ask another question, okay? And that's how you're going to get the person to really talk to you freely, because you're using the words they use. And because you're using the words they use, they have more to say about that. You're being interested in them, not with your own agenda, trying to pitch them something. You're really interested in them. So that's why using keywords in the greeting is going to help you to get that person to talk freely and openly to you. And it's going to get the conversation going on and on and on and on, like for a long time. All right. So that's about the greeting. So now, Arlene, once we've accomplished the greeting, how do we go from greet to qualify? And just for the people who are visiting us live right now, if you like the content, the way you show appreciation, if you say, hey, I like what they're talking about right now at the moment, what you do is you press the screen. If you press 1 or twice, it's like clapping. Okay, so you're like, hey, I like this. All right, so there you go. I'm beating you, Arlene. You see, I'm at 11, you're at 3. Oh, gosh. I spoke too fast, right?
You feel sorry for me, and they'll bring me up to your speed. Well, the greeting is where you start to get somebody to like you. First of all, when you first call them, they know that you're there, and the greeting, you start to get them to like you, and so and then you move into the qualify. And after you get this person to talk freely and open to you, you start asking them certain questions about the reason. It's like they say, well, I really want to stay home and be with my children, but I just have to go to work and make the money. I just don't have any income. I'm the breadwinner. I've got to do that. And so the key words there would be stay home with my children. And I says, wow. Then you dig, it's called going below the surface. Then you find out a little bit information, because I don't know what they really mean by that. I have assumed something, and most people assume they know what the person's talking about. But that's the wrong thing to do. Don't assume anything. Have that person spell out exactly what they mean. So then you ask another question, and it's like, well, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So you don't have enough time with your children. Is that what's really what you're looking to accomplish? More time with your children? And they say, yeah. I said, well, what would you do if you had more time with your children? And then they start telling me about what they really, really want. And we get deeper and deeper into the subject. And they tell me, well, I could get them to school, and I could go be in their classroom and spend time with them in there and volunteer in the classroom. And then I say, well, I dig deeper because I'm still not to the passion yet. And I said, well, if you could be in the classroom and and go on field trips and be with your child, what would that mean to you? How would that change your life and your child's life? See, now I've got down to the passion. I've dug down to the deep part. And then they really start to trust me because they know that I feel their pain. I am walking in their moccasins. I am feeling what words they have expressed. Now I know what they mean when they say, I want to spend time with my child. They want to say, I don't want to miss those precious moments. I want to be there for every single thing my child ever does because the years are passing so quickly. So I know that is what they're saying now. So now I can go back and we go to the next step, which is invite. But that pertinent information that I just received, which is called relevant information, will be the bridge for which I will go back to all the time until my prospect buys for me. And then after they buy, I will also use that relevant information to help them reach their goals.
Awesome. That's so great, and it is valuable in the sense that if you don't do that with your prospect, this is the main reason why your prospect doesn't show interest. When you call them back, they haven't reviewed the information. Why? Because you have not connected their desires, their core, like the main thing that interests them, to your product or service or business. As soon as you connect both, now they have a strong reason to review the information. Can you see the language she used when she picked up and dig deeper into, what is that going to do? And, tell me about your children and the things you want to do. And so by digging deeper onto that, you get to the emotional side, the emotional reason they want to achieve their goals. Connect emotions to your business or your product, and you're going to get people to review information. That's key. And so that's how you get prospect interested in your business or your product, is you make that strong connection between them. All right. So on the qualify step, I would say that's what you want to do. And a lot of people don't do that. They just skip. They go straight to invite them then to review information. And sometimes they're even going to start to pitch their deal. They're going to tell them, oh, I've got this diet program. You should get on. It's amazing. You're going to lose this much weight. And here are the results. Let me show you before and after pictures. And for them, it's just blah, 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 because now all they hear is it's another one of those things. But if you show compassion about their goals, the things they want to achieve, whether it's the business side or the product side, if they talk about, well, I've been trying to lose weight for that, 10 years. Why? 10 years. Because I've tried all kinds of things and nothing worked. And I've been overweight for 10 years. Really? Now, that's a long time. Yes, it is. And I don't know where I'm going to go with this. So what's the main reason that you would want to lose weight? All right. And so, because I don't feel good in my body. I want to, walk on the beach on my swimsuit and, whatever reason they have. But the thing that's going to happen is now they're telling you the real thing, the real desires. Now, do you see that they don't see you trying to pitch your deal like everybody else? You care about them. And that's one of the communication qualities. We're not going to get there today, but you care about them. And because you care about them, now they're going to review information. because they know it's not just about your thing, it's about how you can help them with their true desire for doing something. So that's how it works. So as far as the follow-up, when you call them back, if they don't pick up, don't panic. Sometimes I see people who are like, oh, they didn't pick up, they're not interested, or they like, oh, this is so rude. They were not there. I booked an appointment, and what's going on here? And sometimes I get text messages. I say, I don't know why this person, I booked them and they're not showing up. They're not there. I'm calling and nothing's happening. Why is that? Like, what's going on? Maybe they're not interested. Maybe they felt like I was too aggressive or too assertive, or maybe, and they come up with all of these reasons. Do you come up with those reasons, Arlene? Like, do you make up all kinds of ideas about your prospect if they don't pick up?
No, I just, if I have a text number, I text them and ask, remind them, ask a question. I'm waiting, or I'm on the phone, or try to call you. Is there a time that'd be better to talk with you? I usually will ask them, is there a better time? I tried to call you and no answer. So I'm assuming that something's come up. So what would be a better time for us to talk? And usually people will get right back with me. They'll text me and say, oh, yeah, my dog just got run over, or my child just slipped and fell, or I was in a car accident. I mean, it's unimaginable what things will be happening. My mother's in the hospital and I'm on my way there. And so these are things that are life things. People have life. And so if you've connected with them early on, you have learned about this person and they trust you. And sometimes I'll get texts before that and I'll say, hey, something's come up. I can't meet with you now. What's a better time? And talking about calling back, most of the time when I call back, they know who I am. When I ring a call, they say, well, hi, Arlene, how are you? And I said, I'm great. How you doing? What's going on? And we talk a little bit. We use a greeting again. I review their qualification material. And so, you just kind of, you're not rude. It's not about you. It's not about your selling. You've got to get that out of your mind. You've got to take that sales off your head and get that noise out of your brain about wanting to make a sale. It doesn't really matter if you ever make a sale, but if you make somebody's life better, I guarantee that will strengthen you. You'll be a better person. You'll be a happier person, and it'll all come back tenfold what it has. I've lived that through, so I know it'll happen.
Absolutely. That's great. I would like to ask the audience, if you guys have questions, comments, you can type in the section below, or it could be on the side of your screen if you're online, if you're on the browser. But if you're on the app, you can just do it at the bottom. And so if you have questions that we can help you as far as how do you get your prospect interested, like how do you get, because that's the subject today, is how do you get your prospects interested to review information? So how, any question you have on the subject. And by the way, Arlene, is your phone on the computer, like on your laptop or close to your laptop?
It's sitting on my laptop,
And that noise I hear, it could be the fan of your laptop. And so sometimes it might come through the microphone.
Does that help?
Yeah, I don't hear it anymore. All right. That sounds good.
Well, it's probably the fan.
Yeah, it's probably that. Yeah, Maria says that's way better. Maria, do you have any question, anything? And by the way, if you want to come up live, you just press on one of those empty spots. All right, you see those blab icons? You can just click on those, on one of them, and you can come up live, and we can bring you into the stream, the live stream, whether Maria or anybody else, if you have questions. Okay, there you go. Let's bring her on. Hey, hello.
Hi. Hi, Arlene. I have this question for Arlene because I was talking to Stephane. I've lost quite a bit of weight. You would think that my own testimonial would make me a better uh, because Arlene just said you're trying to make people's lives better. You're not trying to really sell, right?
Uh-huh.
But I'm having a little bit of trouble with people calling me back. And I'm thinking that maybe I'm not really getting to the bottom of why they really want to lose weight. Something's going on. And Stephane had told me about that you and Marley, I think, that you guys do meetings, weekly meetings. So I was asking about that. What do you, I'm sure this is on the same topic. Are we on the same topic?
I can't.
It's breaking up a little bit when you speak. I don't know if it's the microphone, if it's moving, or if it's tapping on something.
Let me move.
Okay. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, because I couldn't understand a thing she said.
Okay. Well, there's two things. All right. One is that Maria, you've been talking to some prospect, and sometimes, I mean, they don't pick up the phone or answer back. But there's also the compliance of people following the program, the weight loss program, and so they don't follow it. They don't. Like, some will do it, but some will not follow through. And I was telling Maria earlier that we found that when people are part of a group like counseling, they do comply a little bit more on the program. And so we'd love to get your feedback on that, Arlene, on the compliance. Did you find a way to get people to really follow it? Do you have like an increase? Do you have like a strategy that can help people really stick with it?
Well, I think there's a couple things. One is like getting them in a group for their accountability. Second, it is the getting a partner that they call every day and they are accountable to that person. But I think it's all in the mind. It's the mindset that they have of themselves and and the discipline that they're willing to put into it. And I consult with those people and say, are you bigger than a chip, a bag? Are you bigger than a cookie? Are you bigger than a piece of bread? Who is controlling you? I mean, you are giving your power over to a food. I mean, if that's what you want out of life, that's okay. And if they say, well, this is too hard, I says, hard? This isn't hard. Not having toxins and poison go into my system, not having sugar that's destroying my heart and my liver, not giving that up. That's not hard. Having your child run over or seeing your parents die, that's hard. I mean, let's get real. What's hard? Do you really want to die of heart attack or have diabetes for the rest of your life? Or do you want your legs chopped off and go blind? Is that hard? I guess it is hard. Staying on the diet that helps you, or staying on a food plan that helps you gain your health back, that's not hard. And I'm kind of straightforward. I go at them. It's ridiculous, especially women. Oh, this is so hard. Oh, baloney. Come on, grow up. Yeah, I just kick them around a little bit, and if they don't stay, they don't stay. You can't change somebody's mind. You just can't do it. But you can give them reason to stay. And if somebody is so undisciplined that they cannot bend themselves away from their addictions for 3 days, 4 days, I say 7 days, stay off of things for 7 days. You can do anything for 7 days, I tell them. Anything for 7 days. In 7 days, they will have lost 7 pounds. And then I say, okay, now, do you want losing more weight or do you want to just stay where you're at? And they say, well, I want to lose more weight. I say, okay, let's do it for 7 more days. You can do anything for 7 more days. And I get them through the first 30 days and they never go back.
Yeah. Do your weekly meetings also work as prospecting? Do people bring other people there to be interested in the business?
Yeah, we do
in
that.
The products?
Yeah, we have about 13 or 14 people in the group. It's a revolving group, so that some people, they've reached their weight goals and they come and go. They're not really that. That's okay, But people that want it are there, that are serious, and that's all we want to work with anyway. Yeah, but people have choices. And sometimes our choices are their choices. Yeah, I hope I wasn't too cruel.
Thank you. No, that was great. I can be that way naturally, so I have to tone it down. This has to
it's good seeing you again, Marie. You look great.
Seeing you too. Thank you.
All right. So, Maria, the way you... yeah, there we go. It looks like you figured it out. Okay, great. Anybody else has a question? Any coaching you can get that's going to be helpful for you? This is a great time for you to ask your question. If you're not getting your prospect interested to review information, if you're getting any kind of, struggle with that, we'd love to hear from you. Any question? If not, we'll call it an end. Call it the end of the call. But basically, I hope you get some value from this. And if you do, we have our Facebook group. You should go and post there your comments about this live stream so that others can see, the benefits they can get from this. But basically, guys.
Hey, Stephane.
Yes.
There's one thing we haven't really talked about, and that was, how do you get from the qualify into the invite and do it successfully? And I think there's some key things that should bring up with that. And that is, after I know their relevant information and I know that they want to spend that time with that child, and I say, when you're 100 years old and you look back on your life and you're going to say, I wish I would have, I wish I could have, I wish I had have been there for my child and had that extra special time with them. Is that where you're going to be? Or are you going to be on the other side of the coin? And they always said, I'm going to be on the other side of the coin. And I said, well, then I want to help you. I want to help you get there. I want to help you have those experiences because I know how valuable they are as my children have grown and gone. And so I relate to personal to them. And sometimes we cry together because it's so emotional. But that's the way you really get people to understand what they really want and have them really face the reality of what they have to do now to get what they really want in the future. So I think that's a kind of an important thing right at when you go to invite. You've got to get that. You've got to connect the invite with the passion.
That goes to, that's a great point, Arlene. And that makes me think of something when I was talking last week on a training about when you have goals, like someone says, I want to spend more time with my family. Well, that's a goal. But sometimes that will not be the trigger that gets someone to do something. If it doesn't get them to do something, what you want to do is you want to make them imagine and picture what the opposite of the goal would be. If you don't reach the goal, what will happen in your life? So just like Arlene just said, is that, well, what's going to happen if you don't spend the time with your kids? Like, they're going to grow up. How is that going to make you feel? All the years are going to be missing. And so sometimes the goal is not what's going to motivate them to take action. It is motivating. It is something they aspire to, but it's not enough to get them to get off their you-know-what and do something.
It's a vision. They got to have a vision.
Got to have the vision, and sometimes it's what's going to happen if that doesn't materialize? If that doesn't happen in your life, what's going to be happening? Well, my kids are going to grow up. They're going to leave my house, and I'm never going to spend the time I wanted with them. Wow. Really? What kind of time you want to spend with them? Well, I want to travel the world. Why? Because I think it's good to create this connection, this bonding with my kids. And and I think also it's going to create this special bond within the family. It's going to be a stronger family, and I know they're going to learn so many things that they can't learn at school. Now, do you see how that will probably get off their butt and take action? You bet. More than the goal, because the goal is, it's fun. I got something I want. But the pain, people do more for painful reasons. All right? I wrote a blog post about that, and I said, you either look for pleasure, you look for the good things that you can achieve. All right? You want to, you aspire for pleasure, but you run away from pain. And sometimes that pain is the thing that's going to get you moving. So anyway, just wanted to point on that because, Arlene, you brought such an important point in the qualify step, but also in the taking action and doing something about it. So go ahead.
Yeah, you have to have that bridge between the qualify and the invite. You just have to have a bridge that pulls them over into the invite. And sometimes I call it a takeaway, because I say, what would it be like if you don't do that? If you're 100 years old and you look back, that's called a takeaway, because I'm taking away those precious years away from them and leaving a void there, and that's the pain of it all. And that pain then gets them to look at that video. They're going to open that video immediately after you get off the phone.
Yeah.
That.
Totally. Awesome. So, okay, so that's all right. So we went through the invite, right? Have we?
We didn't go through. Well, we kind of kept on inviting, but that's okay.
Yeah, we kind of talked a little bit, but basically, what you want to do is you want to tie in the invitation to review information with their goals. All right, let's take the example of someone who wants to lose 30 pounds, and they said, because I want to walk on the beach in my bikini. How would you basically invite them to review information knowing that information?
If they wanted to lose 30 pounds and walk on the beach?
With their bikini and look great.
With their bikini. I would have them have somebody lay down on a piece of butcher paper, big paper, and have them draw out their shape and put it up on the wall, and then tape that bikini to that thing and see how awful they would look. And that would be a picture in their mind. And I say, do that. And then let's talk about how much time have we got? How much, so that they are really starting to commit themselves. Because if they say, well, I've got 3 months. I said, okay, well, that's 90 days that we've got to do this in. So that means we got to do rapid weight loss. Are you up for that? Is that what you want to be? Okay, then let's get busy and do the rapid weight loss. And then I start painting the picture of what they have to do for that rapid weight loss. But I find out when somebody stands in front of the mirror and holds up their bikini and looks at themselves in the mirror with that bikini in front of them, that's better picture than I can ever paint in their mind, because that makes the difference.
It does. And sometimes you just have to, this is something I learned from Tom Schreider a couple of years ago. He says word pictures. And I use this on my brother. My brother wanted to lose weight, and he says, I want to lose 10 pounds. And he wanted to get started just on the basic package. And I said, no, you need a clinical package. He says, I don't need that big pack. I said, no, you need it. This is going to be the best experience you'll ever, have. And he said, okay, but then, but I can't do it now. And I said, that's fine. Do it whenever you're ready. In the meantime, when you wake up in the morning and you get in your restroom, in your bathroom, and you look in the mirror, look at yourself in the mirror and think of, do you like that? Do you like the reflection over there? How bad do you want this? And guess what he did? Like every morning he thought of me. He just hated me. But every single day, that's a word picture. It's just basically you're giving him something to think about with that information, and he's doing it. And so that's painful, but he got on the program. He did it.
I think when you're going this way, the best thing to do is paint that picture for them of what they really look like, make them face it, take a picture and put that picture up there so they're looking at it, put it in front of the refrigerator, take a picture of how you look, paste it in front of that refrigerator so every time you go in to cheat, you look at that picture and say, is it worth it? Is it worth it? You know, is a piece of candy worth what I'm going to look like? You know.
So, Arlene, we did like a lot of the qualify step, and now I'm at the point where I say, okay, the person said, okay, yeah, so tell me about your program. And so what I want to do is typically I want to send them a video that's going to do the explanation for me. So how would I invite them to review that information? Is there specific things you would say, or you would just say, okay, let me send you a link?
No, I would relate it to my relevant information. I'd say, I really want to help you get to where you can stay home with your children because I know how valuable it is. I have a video that will help you explain how you and I can work together to obtain that. I want you to look at it. I want you to notice the basketball going through the garden hose or something about the video. I want to point out different points that I want to come back and talk to them about. So I know what I'm sending them. And then I say to them, okay, these are the things I would want to discuss with you. You know, really look at them in the video. And when can we get back? And I never leave a conversation. Never leave a conversation unless I have a follow-up
close
date.
To action. Yeah.
A close to action, a follow-up date. Even when I talk to you, I say, well, when we're going to talk next. It's just embedded in with me. When I talk to my children, okay, that's great. Can I call you tonight? When are we going to talk? Tomorrow? Okay, tomorrow, what time? You know, so that it's just so important for them to realize that you are serious, you know. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to call you at 9:00 in the morning and let's talk and visit about this. Yeah, get you a cup of coffee and be ready to talk and let's visit about these points. And by then I'm friends with them. They trust me and we can visit and talk.
Exactly. Perfect. Well, that's it. And one thing that I noticed you said there is that you create curiosity on the thing they're going to be watching. All right. Pay attention to the part about the basketball moving through the garden hose because we're going to talk about this. Or take a look at, we're going to talk about this thing or that thing, so that you create curiosity and they're going to be paying attention to that. And they already envision themselves watching the video. Isn't it part of what you hear sometimes when you think of your goals? Even athletes, when they think of them winning the gold medal, what do? They see themselves winning it. They see themselves performing in front of this big audience. They already envision themselves doing that action. What Arlene just did is she made people envision themselves watching that video and looking for that particular part. Okay, that's key. You're creating that curiosity and you're getting the person to actually envision watching it. So then you close to action, like she says. When do you plan to review? I'm going to say, one thing I do all the time when I'm closing to action is I'm saying, okay, I'm going to send this right now. It's going to take me a couple seconds. When can you watch it?
Yeah.
Now, the reason I do this is because if I say, okay, let me send you an email, when can you look at it? They don't know when the email is going to be sent. And so in their mind, it could be tonight, it could be tomorrow, it could be another day, it could be this week. So, okay, I'll review it over the weekend and call me next week. That's typical. You're going to get that often. But if you tell them when the email is being sent, for them, like especially if you say, okay, I'm going to send it right now, give me a couple seconds, it'll be in your inbox. When can you watch it? They know it's going to be there right now, so I can watch it right away. They think short term. They don't think long term. And so they're going to, most of the time, they're going to reply back with, okay, I can watch it tonight. I can look at it this afternoon. You've experienced the same thing?
Yeah, sometimes I will send it while I'm talking to them about me wanting to help them. And as I'm talking to them, I'll send that video because I have it ready to go before I call them. And then I'll say, I'm sending you a video right now I want you to look at. And sometimes they'll say, oh, yeah, here it is in my inbox. I said, well, when can you watch it? And could I get back with you later this afternoon, or when's a good time? And they say, yeah, give me an hour to watch this. I got to go pick up my kids up from school. Can you call me back at such and such a time? I said, sure, I'll be there. Yeah.
Good. So as you can see, guys, there's patterns, there are things that we developed, that we learned. And basically, what those things have helped us is achieve the status we have now as being like able to sponsor people and enroll people into our business and get customers easily. And so it's because we follow these patterns. They became natural now. But it's funny when I talk to Arlene that she does basically the same thing that I do, yet like we've experienced these things, separately. Like we were not working together before. And she became like really, really good. And I became good too. And then we met. And then suddenly, well, of course, we follow the basic training from Tim Sales. But sometimes there are words we use. There are phrases. There are questions. There are things that we picked up over time. And they're basically around the same thing. So if you do that, you're going to see your closing ratio increase. Number of people you get on their products increase. This is how it works. This is pretty simple. It's a formula. Learn the formula, and you're going to have success with it.
Another tip that was helpful to me, because I started doing cold market in 2005, and I would say something, and somebody'd hang up on me, or they'd spit out something really rude or obnoxious to me, and I would write that phrase down and say don't ever, and I in my don't ever say again box. And I could have had a paper there, things to say, things not to say. And boy, when I would get a phrase that would turn people off, I'd write it down. I'd remember, don't ever say that again, because that's never going to get you any place. Like when you call somebody and you say, oh, I noticed that you looked on my ad, and I noticed that you were looking for a business from home. Have you found what you were looking for? And they'll say, no, what do you got? Well, there I am. Where do I go from there? I mean, I can't even do a greeting. I mean, they've got me pinned down. They've got control of the conversation. They took it right away from me because I gave it to them. I asked a question that had them in control of the conversation. So I wrote that down. Don't ever do that again. You always be in control of the conversation. You are the one. If they ask you a question, answer it, but go back with a question that will put you in control of that conversation. Because once you lose control of that conversation, you might as well blow it and hang out and say goodbye. You're not going to get them anyway.
Exactly.
So, no, there's so much we didn't cover today that we could probably go on here for hours.
Yes, we could, and but we'll do more of these trainings. We wanted to test this platform today, and so we'd love to hear your feedback. If you're part of our Facebook group, please make comments there. Tell us how it went, how you liked this. The interaction, I think it's good. We can see all the comments below. We see the pictures of you guys. We can bring a guest on. I mean, it's very easy to use. I'm on my cell phone right now. All right, so I'm on my cell phone doing this. I can be on a laptop doing it. It's easy. And so so there you go. I see Maria says, love it. We have a bunch of guests I recognize here. And so thank you guys for joining us. It's good to see you on, and we'll do more of these events and help you coaching. And if you have any suggestion for a future event, let us know. We'd love to hear in which way we can help you, because I'm in the trenches. I'm building my business. Arlene and I developed the skills. Okay, we already have the skills to do the business successfully. And so sometimes we forget some of the things that we've been struggling with. And so if we hear from you, it helps us craft training that will help you get there. And so so with this being said, I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments in the group. And next week we'll be back. The following week, I'm not sure if it's the following week I'm going to be in Korea or the next after. But anyway, the week of the 13th, I'm leaving for Korea. So I'll be gone for a couple of days. So we'll see who's doing the event. But anyway, we'll be back. We'll try to do this more regularly. But anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again very soon. Thanks, Arlene.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Stephane. See you later.
Bye. See you. I need to find out how to close this. All right, leave.
Oh,